2003 Athletic Awards Banquet. I'd like to call to your attention many of our guests who have accepted our invitation to join us this afternoon and thereby add so much to the importance of this occasion. Kindly hold your applause until I've completed all acknowledgements. We are pleased to have with us today as members of the Board of Education, Mr. and Ms. Christopher Blair, Mr. and Ms. Douglas Tremblay, and Mr. and Ms. Leonard Welch. Members of the school administration who have joined us are Superintendent of Schools, Mr. William Scott and Mrs. Scott, High School Principal, Mr. Rabideau, and Athletic Director, High School Principal, Mr. Kokenauer, and Athletic Director, Mr. John Rabideau. The following members are members of the coaching staff at Northern Adirondack Central School. Mr. Larry Barcombe, Mr. Geneva Barnaby, Mrs. Geneva Barnaby. I'll get it right. Mr. Brian Bouye, Mr. Daniel Bushy, Mr. Timothy Drollat, Mr. Craig Dumas, Ms. Melinda Guerin, Mr. Jerry Hamlin, Mr. Dennis LaBarge, Mr. Jamie LaBarge, Mr. Dennis LaBaire, Mr. Dennis LaBaire, Mr. Kobe LeClaire, Ms. Lori Martin, Mr. Don McNeil, Mr. Donald Mullen, Mr. Jerry Courier, Mr. John Rabideau, Mrs. Susan Rabideau, Mr. Larry Ross, Mr. Daniel Sheehan, and Mr. Wayne Wilkins. I am also especially pleased to welcome our county legislator, Mr. Sam Tremblay. Thank you for joining us. We are also pleased to have many of our guests' wives and husbands present. Again, I want to express our appreciation to all of our guests who have joined us this afternoon. And at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our athletic director, Mr. John Rabideau.
I asked George not to sound too eloquent when he came up here, and George, I appreciate it. He pulled it off. Before we get started, it seems like every year I get started with the process of this, and we forget that any semblance of order that there appears to be up here, the certificates, the program, Mr. Kokenauer and I sitting very politely and kind of looking blankly at each other as we pull this off, is attributed very much to one person. And I'd like to make sure that we recognize her. She does a great job setting this up, Ms. Darla Bylow. It is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to another Athletic Awards banquet. Along with the success that we will celebrate today and have come to expect from our athletes on the fields, courts, and mats, I am especially proud of the growing number of teams that are being recognized as New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete teams. I would also like to single out Kristen Canning, Ashley McNeil, Christy Drown, Brian Tremblay, Corey Bilo, and Andrew Sheehan for their inclusion in the CVAC All-Academic teams. Sometimes lose track of the fact that you are student athletes, and I would like to salute your successes in the classroom as we recognize your athletic accomplishments today. I would like to personally thank our seniors for their leadership and contributions to our athletic program. You will be greatly missed, and we wish you the best in all you do. I would like to thank our administration and Board of Education for their continued support of our athletic program in the face of some very difficult budgetary constraints. Your guidance and support are crucial to our efforts. Lastly, I would like to thank our coaching staff who have provided the solid foundation for our success. Although these people are very different in personality, technique, and experience, the common thread is their desire to develop the competitive skills and fundamentals of teamwork necessary for your success. I think they deserve a warm round of applause for their efforts. Please make sure to enjoy your success, but be careful not to take it for granted. I trust you will take a moment to thank your parents and coaches for helping you reach your goals and for sharing in your successes. They have both played an integral part. Congratulations to all of you for your commitment and my best wishes for continued success.
Thank you, Mr. Revenue, and express your thanks to your wife, Sue, for writing another good speech. I know you couldn't pull that off. The first team to be recognized, the JV girls soccer team, would please come forward, coached by Jerry Bria. As the players come up, we're going to break the tradition a little bit this year. Instead of hiding around behind the corner in the hall where nobody can see you, I'm going to ask that the players step forward so that the audience can actually see the players as they're being discussed. So step forward, please, girls. Thank you.
All right, let's get this started. The JV girls soccer team combined with a record 7-6-2 this year. Offensively, we were led by Courtney Bilo with 9 goals, Krista Shippey with 8. Defensively, anchored by goalkeeper Katie LeBaire, sweeper Kelsey Jutton, and fullback / sweeper Kim Scavenge. The team played hard every time out and improved on a daily basis. We played so hard at times that we could be considered psychotic, Stephanie. With 12 players returning next year, we look for another great year from these young ladies. I enjoyed working with them at every opportunity. Kayla, there will be pizza after, but I don't know about Pepsi. Thank you, ladies.
Players of the JV girls soccer team, Kayleen Ryan, Kayla Supley, Heidi Rior, Kristen Watts, Justine Barco, Courtney Bilo, Elena Karofsky, Katie LeBaire, Stephanie O'Neill, Heather Taylor, Amanda Wells, Barbara Wolf, Katie Forney, Kara Molark, Kylie Rao, Kim Saskavich, Rainey Minkler, Kelsey Jutton, Alyssa Varon, Carissa Demers, Krista Shippey. The JV girls soccer team. Girls varsity soccer team, please come forward. Coached by Brian Boudier.
coach, these things happen. There is nothing more you can ask of your team. This team definitely did play hard. They did play together, and they never quit. They played an amazing 6 overtime games in a row. They played hard, played together, and they never quit. They were a class act, a lot of fun to coach, and I enjoyed this season immensely. Individual awards this year went to Stacy Miner, who was selected to the Division II All-Star team, Krista Jubert, who was selected to the All-Conference team. As a team, they were awarded the New York State Scholar Athlete Award with an average of 93.365. I'd like to thank the seniors for their tremendous leadership this year. I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Coach Revenue doesn't have any confidence in our athletes at all. The basketball team isn't for a wild coach. Come on, guys, you know I love you. The girls' varsity soccer team. Carissa Demers, Kim Bradshaw, Katie Forkey, Kelsey Jutman, Kara Malark, Rainey Minkler, Kylie Rao, Krista Shippey, Elizabeth Fiveson, Michelle Moyer, Jamie Mylan LeClaire, Haley Trombley, Patricia DeCos, Lindsay Fennessy, Samantha Laurie, Megan Rior, Shay Gilmore, Janelle Frenier, Renee Miner, Madonna Bertrand, Kristen Canning, Krista Jubert, Stacy Miner, Aubrey Perrier, Stephanie Varon, and scorekeeper Elizabeth Boyer, girls varsity soccer team. Next team to be recognized, the modified boys soccer team, coached by Mr. Dan Sheehan.
Coach Sheehan was not able to be with us this afternoon because of another commitment. He did send in a brief note. One thing that I would like to recognize, if you, in the program it says boys modified soccer. We had enough girls for a modified soccer team. We were unable to field a coach, and we selectively classified some of these young ladies to play on the modified soccer team, which is the first time we had ever done it in our school's history, and they did a nice job, and I'd like to just recognize them at this time. Coach Sheehan writes, I would like to thank all of the students who participated in the modified soccer program in the fall. I saw a great deal of potential in all of the student athletes. They must strive for improvement and will be an asset to the school's soccer program in the future.
The Northern Adirondack modified soccer players. Mitchell Brown. Coach, you know how much restraint it takes for me to stand up here and let you do that? John Hicks. Derek Jubert. Tyler Brassard. Cody LeClaire. Cody Trombley. Forrest Ryan. Ben Fiveson. Ben Boyer. Tom Page. Kyle Canning. Andrew Morgan. Jake Rogan. Ryan LaValle. Zach Barron. Christine Levitt. Kristen Brunel. Stacy Harford. Sarah Trudeau. The modified soccer team. Next group will recognize the JV boys soccer team, coached by Mr. Jerry Hammond.
I want to say it was a pleasure coaching the JV boys soccer team this year. The team started off slow, but we improved 100% by the end of the season. Once they realized the ball goes into the net and not off the goal post or crossbar, my record group started to improve a little bit. If they counted all the goal post, crossbar shots, and breakaways that we missed, we would have led the league in scoring this year. They worked hard together and played as a team, and they showed by the end of the season with their defense and passing. They also showed good sportsmanship, as I'm proud of them as a coach. When all is said and done, a coach can't ask for anything else. Thank you for a good season.
Boys varsity, the JV boys soccer players. Ryan Dowd. Dan Myers, Ryan Tatro, Kyle Brassard, Jim Jubert, Cody LeClaire, Josh McNeil, Justin Perry, Nathan Rock, Chance St. Germain, Kyle Stevens, Doug Alexander, Jim Burnell, Brandon LeBombard, Jared Tatro, Chris LaValle. JV boys soccer team. Will the boys varsity soccer players please come forward, coached by Don Molden.
Okay. The boys varsity soccer team enjoyed a successful season, finishing with a 7-4-2 league record and a 10-8-2 overall record. A couple highlights of our season were a 1-0 victory over Northeastern Clinton, a 0-0 tie against Seton Catholic, and a 9-1 beating of Osceola Valley in the sectional semifinals. Postseason awards went to Andrew Sheehan, Sean Burke for second team CBAC, Justin Gardner, first team CBAC, Andrew Siskavich, honorable mention. We had 7 seniors on our team, and I would just like to take this opportunity to thank them for their excellent leadership on and off the field. Make our season run smoothly and much more enjoyable. I'd like to also wish them good luck in their future careers. To all the returning players, I feel with continued teamwork, effort, and dedication that the boys soccer team will continue to be successful. Thank you.
Varsity boys soccer players. Justin Gardner, Corey Biden, Sean Burke, Brian Trombley, Andrew Sheehan, Lee LaValle, Andrew Siskavich, Mark Decoff, Zach Welch, Josh Strack, Ryan Leduc, Josh Clark, Sean O'Neill, Cassidy Patton, Jeremy Scott, Troy Rabideau. Nick Trombley. Matt Lawrence. The varsity boys soccer team. The modified volleyball team, please come forward, along with Coach Lori Martin.
I really just have a few thank yous this year. First, I'd like to thank Larry Barkle. He's wonderful. He's the inspiration behind this program, and all the success of all the volleyball teams comes from Larry. I'd like to thank the parents who showed up every Saturday morning, even when it was cold and snowy, and spent all day with us in the gym. Had a great time. I'd like to thank Kristen Brunel and Emily Snide. They did a great job organizing us and helping us. I'd like to thank Mr. Dumas. There were many days when he took care of us in the gym and switched gym schedules with us, so thank you to you and your team. And I'd really like to thank the girls. I really only wanted to have probably about 12 girls on the modified team this year, but there were 19 wonderful young ladies with a lot of talent, so I kept all 19. We had a great time, and I couldn't ask for anything else, and I thank you.
Modified volleyball players. Chelsea Barkle. Hillary Boyer. Jenna Brunel. Kristen Brunel. Amanda Byron. Heather Byron. Corinne Gardner. Jill Gardner. Stephanie Langell. Amanda Myers. Kristen Relation. Kaylin Scott. Emily Snide. Rebecca Spinner. Lacey Sunderland. Beth Trombley. Sarah Trudeau. Rachel Van Meter. Brittany Barrett. Modified volleyball. Will the JV volleyball players please come forward? And Coach Geneva Barton.
of them and their accomplishments, and especially as a first-year coach, they were very understanding. Very special thanks also go out to two great guys, Henry Minkler for scorekeeping. Thanks so much. And Coach Barcombe from the varsity volleyball team. We are also grateful to the girls for varsity. They shared the gym with us. We're very appreciative. Thank you so much. Great job, ladies.
The JV volleyball team, Kim Saskavich, Heidi Rios, Heather Taylor, Elena Karofsky, Alyssa Verma, Ashley Snide, Mandy Wells, Kayla Bobdell, Kathleen Patton, Kayleen Ryan, Kara Malark, Victoria DeMore, scorekeeper Henry Minkler. The varsity volleyball players, please come forward. Coach Larry Barco.
Thank you. It was another great year for Bobcat Volleyball. We won the Division II championship with a record of 13-1. We won our 19th consecutive Section 7 championship. We also won 2 tournaments, the Saranac Christmas Tournament and the Northern Adirondack Tournament. The highlight of our season was winning the regional championship, defeating the section champions from Section 3 and Section 4. It was the first time that a team from Section 7 has won the regional tournament. So that was exciting. Girls, thank you. In a school which has a tradition of good defensive volleyball, this is one of the finest defensive teams that I've coached. The effort, the intensity with which they play defense is a tribute to their mental and physical toughness. On offense, Shay Gilmore was our main weapon with 313 kills. However, one of the keys to this team's success in sectional and regional play was having people like Jamie Milan, Stacy Miner, Haley Trombley, Megan Rayor step forward and become good offensive players when we needed it. We also had some individual honors. Shay Gilmore, Stacy Miner, and Krista Shippey were named to the Division II All-Star team, and Shay was also on the All-CVAC team. And on the New York State All-State Volleyball team, Shay is on Class C second team, and Krista Shippey was on the Class C fifth team. We also received a New York State Scholar Athlete nomination with a qualifying team average of 93.9. I would like to thank the girls for the most enjoyable season. With 10 underclassmen on this roster, this should be a strong team again next year. I would like to thank Mrs. Barnaby for her support and assistance, and I would like to give a special thanks to Mrs. Martin for allowing herself to be persuaded to be the coach and mentor of the modified team. We have an outstanding group of younger players and many of the best prospects that we've had since I've been coaching here. Thank you.
Now, in addition to letters and pins, Mr. Revenue will be awarding championship plaques, which state Northern Adirondack Bobcat Championship Award, Varsity Volleyball CVAC Division II Champions, Section 7 Class C Champions, NYSPH SAA Regional Champions, 2002-2003. Varsity volleyball players, Stacy Miner. Stephanie Barrett. Ashley McNeil. Shay Gilmore. Megan Reel. Patricia Decos. Krista Shippey. Jamie Mylan Leclerc. Haley Trombley. Kelsey Junkman. Elizabeth Fivison. Heidi Rior. Kim Siskavich. Scorekeeper Henry Mingler. Modified wrestlers, please come forward. And coach here in Korea. Will the JV wrestlers please come forward as well at this time? And Coach Toby Leclerc.
All right, modified wrestling team and JV. We'll cover modified first. Again, small numbers. I'm going to take a cheap shot here. Anybody who does not participate in the winter sport already, come out and give it a shot. All right. Numbers were small. Guys were very, very inexperienced. So as the year went on, we did see progress. Makes things look good. At all times, practice, sometimes harder in practice than on the mat. These guys put it all out there on the line at all times. Thank you, modified boys. The JV wrestlers traveled to Middlebury, Messina, Saranac, and Peru for their tournaments. Also had a struggle with numbers. No matter what, they earned respect at every single tournament. Small numbers, but we still had good results. Joe Menor was able to capture the Saranac tournament, and Brandon LeBombard was first at Messina, second at Middlebury. Again, hard work every single time out, lots of effort. Thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you and some others next year.
First modified wrestlers, Josh DeBray. Tom Page. Sean Daly. The JV wrestlers, Joe Mano. Brandon LeBombard. Cody Leclerc, Neil Lagoy, Josh Trombley, Erwin Danforth, Scott Manor, Matt Gilmore, Josh Lagoy, Justin Burnell. Modified and JV wrestlers. At this time, will the varsity wrestlers please come forward, along with Coach Larry Ross.
Good afternoon. I wish to thank the school board and administration for allowing us the opportunity to be competitive at a state level. I also wish to thank Kelby and the Booster Club for their support. The 2002-2003 wrestling season progressed better than anticipated. While always optimistic, we knew there was a great deal of work ahead with the loss of 16 varsity wrestlers from last year's roster. As time went on and Bobcat pride and reputation emerged, the group pulled together. We ended the season with a 500 league record and 11-8 overall dual league record. We were second at Goshen, third at Boston Spa, 11th out of 30 at Spencerport, 7th at Essex Junction, 4th at Livermore, and 4th at the 7-10 duels. More importantly, the records reflect these finishes against large school and quality competition. You chose not to avoid the challenge. I saw real growth and determination throughout the season. We finished with a two-time sectional champ in Troy Rabideau and 3 all-star recipients in Troy Rabideau, Brad Millard, and Justin Perry. We lose 2 effective leaders in our captains, Troy Rabideau and Brian Trombley. They are also outstanding individuals who will be missed. If everyone returns, if everyone returns and all are willing to work hard, not just during the season, but throughout the year, we will be legitimate contenders for the league titles next season. May you be inspired by your past success, motivated by your future challenges. Be ready for camp and summer tournaments. Thank you.
Varsity wrestlers, Justin Perry, Brandon Lombard, Brad Millark, Devin Leclerc, Brad Creer, BJ Gadway, Cody Leclerc, James LeBombard, Brian Trombley, Jeff Charlin, Erwin Danforth, Dave Murtaugh, Troy Revenue. In addition to receiving a certificate and pin, you will also receive a championship plaque from Mr. Revenue. It says Varsity Wrestling, Section 7 Champion, 215 pounds, 2002-2003. Manager James Charlin. Scorekeepers and officers, Kelby Moore, Stephanie Varon, Sarah Gowett, Stacy Miner, Ashley McNeil, Renee Miner, Krista Shippey. Modified A girls basketball, coached by Dennis Lemaire.
Go, get it!
Hey, where'd she go?
First of all, I'd like to thank Redville for giving me the opportunity to coach such a great group of girls. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Sherry Bedard for her invaluable assistance. It meant a great deal. I'd also like to thank the girls for letting me coach them. Their dedication to practice and willingness to learn showed in their improvement throughout the year. I look forward to coaching these young ladies in next year. Thank you.
Girls modified basketball players, Melissa Brassard, Miranda Kaye, Barbara Wolf, Nicole Trudeau, Danielle McNeil, Amanda Torville, Shannon Trombley, Christine Levin, Crystal Wilson, Charday Morgan. The girls modified basketball. The girls basketball team, please come forward, along with Coach Don McNeil.
Year with one thing in mind: earn respect from our own school, the other schools, the refs, and it was 100% success in that respect. The girls were great to work with. A couple of them were a little hard-headed, but they found out I was just a little bit more so. I always won in the long run. It was a real enjoyable year. I'd like to thank John Ford for letting me do it, and hopefully I can come back next year with a group of girls. And I think another year, once we learn a few things this year, the record will turn around. The season was not based on won and loss. It was based on the respect, and I think they all left the gym a better person for it. Thank you.
Girls varsity basketball players, Barbara Wolf, Karen Wilcox, Miranda LaFay, Rainey Nickler, Heather Seguin. Jenna McNeil. Linda Weatherholt. Becky Bertrand. Chantel Dezan. Danielle Trombley. Scorekeeper Daniela McCarty.
While I've got Big D here, she was also honorable mention. If she'd listened just a little bit sooner, hard-headedness, she could have been an all-star. She almost made it, just took her a little too long to listen.
The modified boys basketball players, please come forward. Coach Greg Dumas.
Coach Dumas was not able to be with us because we sent him on a series of coaching clinics that I'm hoping in the next month and a half or so he'll be back in school. I've got his speech. It was a great pleasure and honor to have the opportunity to coach these young men. Every practice, they continue to work hard and improve in every aspect of the game. Their personality and willingness to listen and dedication made this an enjoyable year for both the players and myself. I again would like to thank them for their hard work, and I hope that they continue to practice over the summer. A special thanks to all the friends and family members that came to support our team. I would also like to give a special thanks to me and Mr. Boyer for their help and guidance throughout the season.
Boys modified basketball players, Doug Alexander, Ben Boyer, Terry Brunel, Jesse Dubray, Jim Brunel, Chris LaValle, Justin Wilson, Stuart Nichols, Travis Love, James Siskavich, Jacob Sunderland, Alan Brassard, Jacob Grogan, Ben Fiveson, Tyler Brassard, scorekeeper Kristen Watts, scorekeepers and clock operators Mr. and Mrs. Boyer. At this time, would the JV boys basketball players please come forward? Coach Brian Boyer.
season started in November, I didn't know what to expect from this team. When the season ended in February, I still didn't know what to expect. Some games they were great, some games they were not so great. They did come to practice every night, ready to go hard, and I really did have a good time coaching this bunch. I'd like to thank them for most memorable season. Thanks, man.
Boys JV basketball players, Doug Alexander, Jesse Dubray, James Siskavich, Kyle Brassard, Josh McNeil, Nathan Rock, James Supley, Jake Bertrand, Holden Collins, Corey Perrette, Danny Myers, Sean O'Neill, scorekeepers Lindsay Fennessy and Samantha Laurie. Boys JV basketball. The boys varsity basketball players come forward, please. Coach John Revenue.
As they say in the PGA Tour commercials, these guys are good. Bobcat Shootout champions, Division II CVAC champions, Section 7 Class C champions, overall Section 7 champions, New York State quarterfinalists, New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Team, and New York State Class C ranked honorable mention or above for the entire season. 14-4 in league play, 19-5 overall. These guys were indeed very good. Individual honors went to Stephen Thomas as league MVP and New York State Class C All-State Team. Corey Bilo won the New York State Basketball Coaches Association Scholarship and the local IABO Basketball Official Scholarship. Justin Gardner was CVAC All-Star Honorable Mention and won the Dean Benson Memorial Award. I enjoyed coming to practice and games because they worked hard and got along unselfishly. I felt they understood and accepted their roles as well as any team I have ever coached, and the results bear that out. I want to recognize and thank the seniors for their leadership and wish them the best in all they do. To the solid nucleus of returning players, the bar has been set very high. November is closer than you think.
In addition to certificates and pins, players will receive plaques which say varsity basketball, CBAC Division II champions, Section 7 Class C champions, overall Section 7 champions, NYSPHSAA quarterfinalist 2002-2003. Boys varsity basketball team, Jake Bertrand, Danny Myers, Jeremy Scott, Josh Strack, Kyle Watts, Zach Welch, Corey Bible, Sean Burke. Justin Gardner. Brad LeBombard. Andy Siskavich. Stephen Thomas. Scorekeepers, Lindsay Fennessy and Samantha Maury. Announcer, shot clock operator, Trevor Finley. Announcer, shot clock operator, Brian Lester. Boys varsity basketball. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Trombley to come forward with another presentation.
Well, thank you, Mr. Guggenhauer. Good afternoon, teachers, parents, families, friends, and athletes. All. My job was to keep the parking lot plowed and sanded so that the games could go on. I didn't get to participate in the games, but that was my responsibility. On behalf of our Clinton County Legislature, we congratulate the Northern Adirondack Central boys varsity basketball team on the occasion of winning the Section 7 Class C and the overall championship. And this resolution was introduced by myself, Mr. Defiant, Mr. Butler, Mr. Hines, and Mrs. Roden. I won't read the resolution. Mr. Revenue said just about everything that the resolution is on here, so I won't take up any more of your time. But this resolution was seconded by legislator Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Giroux, and Mr. Langley, Mrs. Paquette, and Mr. Walker. And I hereby certify that the foregoing is a true copy of a resolution acted upon by the Clinton County Legislature and that the regular legislative session on May 14, 2003. Also, we have right along with the citation, which a copy will be made to give to all the players. And with that, Mr. Revenue, we congratulate you on the fine job that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Trombley. The boys varsity basketball. The JV cheerleaders, please come forward, along with their coach, Lindsay Garrett. JV cheering squad, Justine Barco, Amanda Bushy, Lauren Carter, Jacqueline Harding, Erin Hemingway, Kaylee LeBaire, Kaylee LaValle, Stephanie O'Neill, Amanda Sorrell, Ashley Torville, Courtney Trudeau. JV cheering squad. Varsity cheerleaders, please come forward. Their coach, Suzanne Revenue.
I'm going to have the cheerleaders come out front and center because they've never been shy before. They like to be center of attention. Seniors, come out front. Oh yeah, seniors. Okay, Dave, over here. The 2002-2003 varsity cheer team continued the standard of excellence set by the teams before them. They won the CVAC cheer competition, marking the 13th win in the last 14 years that NAC has been crowned champion. 8 seniors provided leadership for this team, with 3 of them, Aubrey, our cheer Nazi, Madonna, our dance Nazi, and Krista. Mrs. Reb, you want me kicked there? You won't go there, right, Krista? They've been on varsity for 4 years. The character of this team is probably best shown by their decision to forego other competitions to cheer for the varsity boys team during their sectional and regional play. I would like to extend my special thanks to the seniors and wish them all the best in their future. To the returning varsity cheer team, good luck next year and keep up the hard work. And Shay, I'm going to keep it to your promise.
In addition to receiving certificates, varsity cheerleading squad will receive a plaque that says Co-Ed Cheerleading CVAC Champions 2002-2003. Varsity cheerleading squad, Danielle Barnaby, Madonna Bertram, Courtney Bible, Michelle Boyer, Kristen Canning, Carissa Demers, Aaron Dubray, Janelle Frenier, Krista Juba, Katie LeBert, Jessica LeGray, Renee Miner, Becky Pedriani, Aubrey Perea, Kylie Rao, Courtney Trudeau,
Not more like the elementary.
Lee LaValle, at this time I would ask Mr. Trombley to come up to make another presentation.
Yes, thanks once again, Coach, Mrs. Revenue of the Clinton County Legislature. Also congratulate the Northern Adirondack Central Varsity Cheerleading Team on the occasion of the winning of the Champlain Valley Athletic Conference Championship for the year 2002 and 2003. And this resolution again was introduced by myself, Mr. Defiant, Mr. Butler, Mr. Hines, and Mrs. Walker, and it was seconded by Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Giroux, Mr. Langley, and Mrs. Paquette, and Mrs. Broughton.
and this was certified that the foregoing is true copy of the resolution acted upon the county legislature in the regular session on May 14, 2003, and it's amazing. And again, we have a citation that you can have a copy for all the, and it's amazing some of the stuff that these girls who I watch on television. Kelly, I think you're ready for the trapeze. With that, congratulations.
This time I'm told the boys varsity basketball team wants to make a reappearance. Along with the girls cheering squad up here. This looks like trouble. Coach, if you need help, holler.
We just got them something special because they were always great to us. So here it is. Picture we took at the sectional finals, and we all signed it. Actually, before we won. Anyway, we won.
Tennis team, please come forward, along with Coach Daniel Bushy.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by thanking Larry Barcombe because the good news is this year we played 6 out of 9 matches here at home. The bad news is next year we're going to play 6 out of 9 matches away. The good news is we're only losing one senior this year, the only senior on our team. The bad news and sad news is that we'll miss Christy Drown. Good luck at St. Lawrence. The good news is we had 10 out of 14 starters win their first varsity match in tennis. The bad news is that they all did it in different matches. The good news is that the girls' tennis team got the Scholar Athlete Award for New York State. The bad news is the boys' tennis team missed it by 0.6 of a point. The really, really bad news is that their biology teacher, who's also their tennis coach, has 10 of those boys in his class. Sorry, man. I'd like to say a very big thank you to all the parents who supported their kids this year, hauling them all over the place. We had only one senior, a lot of younger kids on the tennis team, and that meant a lot of non-driving tennis players. The parents did a fabulous job getting them to where they had to be. So I'd like to end by saying, hit it hard, hit it often, and peace.
The tennis players, Forrest Ryan, Nathan Rock, Nicole Trudeau, Steve Moore, Jason Middleton, Kayla Lobdell, Pat Brown, Nathaniel Tomo, Hillary Weldon, Peter Sorrell, Andrew Cook, Janet King, Neil Lagoy, Josh Clark, Alyssa Barron, Justin Burnell, Renee Stevens, Brenny Stevens, I'm sorry, Jessica Minkler, Chris Peckrell, Henry Minkler, Danielle Pupor, Curtis Pupor, Dustin Relation, Mandy Wells, Liz Fiveson, Jesse Boris, Darren Roy, Kim Siskavich, and Christy Drum. Modified softball players, please come forward, along with Coach Jared Brie.
Let me also start by thanking anybody who comes to support any sport. I see a lot of the same faces at all different sports, and I would also like to thank you. When this season started, the modified softball season, walked in the gym the first time and looked eye to eye with 36 young ladies. Knowing that I had to pick from these 36 young ladies, and with that amount of number, there was no way that we could be bad, right, ladies? And these girls definitely lived up to the potential. Finishing the year with a 9-1 record, outscoring our opponents by an amazing 88 runs. The one loss was by a single run. Offensive juggernauts we were, scoring 196 runs. In 10 games. Just going through the scorebook, one sort of amazing offensive achievement. Kristen Burnell hit far above 700 this year. The pitching was anchored by Kim Giro and Courtney Trudeau. They did the majority of the pitching and did an excellent job. This team showed a lot of heart and hard work throughout the year. I want to thank the 9th graders, Kim Giro, Jacqueline Harding, Courtney Trudeau, for sticking with us. The 8th graders for just bringing a fun and enjoyable atmosphere. 7th graders for being the ones who are there to work. Thank you, ladies. Good luck next year.
Modified softball players. Jenna Burnell.
There's no sense in sending her down there to get her discouraged.
Kristen Burnell, Hillary Boyer, Amanda Myers, Sarah Trudeau, Emily Snide, Miranda Kaye, Katie Charlin, Amanda Cunningham, Christine Levitt, Danielle McNeil, Heidi Rior, Kayla Sutley, Amanda Torville, Kim Giro, Jacqueline Harding, Courtney Trudeau, Manager Ashley Torville. Modified softball. The JV softball players, please come forward, coached by Dennis LaMarge.
They're going to ask me to do it again. These are Mr. LaBarge's words. This year's JV softball team had an outstanding year. We definitely weren't the most athletic JV team out there, but with teamwork and good attitude, these girls finished first in Division II. Congratulations, girls. I would like to thank the sophomores for a very enjoyable year. I hope you will take your winning attitude to the varsity level and bring a sectional championship back to NAC soon. I have also enjoyed working with the freshman girls. I hope that you all continue to play over the summer so that our JV team can have another winning season next year. Thanks for a wonderful year. While I have you, one thing I forgot when I was doing the modified, I would like to thank my wife and my daughter for putting up with all the time I spend here and not home.
JV softball players, Haley Trombley, Kelsey Junkman, Jenna McNeil, Rainey Minkler, Michelle Boyer, Alex Miller, Elena Grofsky, Justine Barkle, Aaron Hemingway, Barbara Wolf, Courtney Bilo, Lauren Carter, Carissa Demers, the JV softball team. The varsity softball players, please come forward. Coached by Timothy Drillette.
At the beginning of the year, I was asked a few questions from some newspaper. The first one was, what were our team's strengths?
I told them we have a very good-looking team. The second was, what was our weaknesses? I told them that would be our mental game. If these same questions were asked to me again right now, I would have to respond the same way. What I didn't tell them, though, was that I thought we had one of the best teams in the league. What I found out was that we had the best next to the last place team in the league. Our records put us close to the bottom, but I still think our team was much better than those statistics. The team displayed their true potential when they made headlines by knocking off the only undefeated team at the time in a close 2-1 victory while playing errorless and spectacular defense. Later, the team dealt a no-hitter at the same time wrapping out 14 hits to win a sectional game. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to bring out the best competitive team for more games. It was, however, pointed out to me that I was the highest paid coach for the number of wins. As like always, I enjoyed the coaching part, but something was different about this team compared to some others. This team really enjoyed practicing in the rain and playing in the mud. They actually liked having me try to drill the ball by them on the line while they dove to try to stop it. Pretty close to lastly. Congratulations to Krista Shippey for being selected to our Division II All-Star team. Almost last time. I think we need to bring the English department to some of our practices next year to help us to be better at reading our signs. And lastly, spring sports are played during the hardest season to stay focused and committed. I would like to acknowledge our senior players, Madata Bertrand, Kristen Canning, Krista Dubert, and Ashley McNeil, and Becky Petriani, and Stephanie Barron. I have enjoyed their company for the past few years and appreciate the time they have dedicated to playing softball. I wish them the best and good luck with their futures.
Varsity softball players, Jamie Milan Leclerc, Krista Shippey, Melissa Brassard, Janelle Frenier, Shay Gilmore, Renee Miner, Madonna Bertrand, Kristen Canning, Krista Jubert, Ashley McNeil, Becky Pedriani, and scorekeeper Stephanie Barrett. Varsity softball team. Modified baseball players, please come forward. Coach Wade Wilkins.
It's very fitting that I follow Tim Drillette up here today because being a first-year teacher and first-year coach, he shared his classroom with me. He shared his lesson plans with me. When I forgot my scorebook, he shared his scorebook with me. So when they asked me if I wrote a speech, I just figured, you'd have one for me. So, modified baseball. It was great. As Mr. Revenue said, don't take anything for granted, and I think I can speak for every one of these guys over here that we took nothing for granted. We went winless this year. Started off with our only third experience with actual bases for the whole year was an away game in Ticonderoga, and we got pounded 28-0. I think that opened their eyes quite a bit, and maybe the ears started to turn to me a little more, and they really started to play hard after that, and I think we had a great season. With a group of guys like this ain't the only honorable mentions and highlights I think that go along with it, because it involves girls. So I think their highlight, I guarantee their biggest highlight of the year, was getting to share an away game on a bus with the girls varsity softball team. And a special, only honorable mention I could think of came to Scott Matthews with his official nickname. I think they called him a Babe Magnet. Only when he had his Sam's Club jumbo bag of Chex Mix. He would beat the girls off him when he had that. But anyways, I want to thank, we had a bunch of freshmen that will be with us next year. Good luck to them trying out for JV next year. And I just appreciate their maturity, especially Scotty Matthews, Chance St. Germain, and Trevor Blondo. They were great. I think they are somebody that should be, and Lance Borky, sorry. But the group in general, I think that they're good role models for the 7th graders to really look at a few guys and see how to act, how to behave, how to present yourself. Those are good guys to look up to, and I wish them the best for next year. Thanks, guys.
Modified baseball players. James Alexander. Chance St. Germain. Trevor Blondo. Lance Borky. Charles Wilcox. Scott Matthews. Kyle Stevens. Ben Boyer. Zach Lashway. Alan Brassard. Ben Fiveson. Tyler Brassard. Mitchell Rao. Tom Page. Kyle Canning. This year's modified baseball team. The JV baseball players, please come forward. Coach Craig Dukes.
Big D. Big D.
Okay, Mr. Dumas couldn't be here tonight, so he asked me to give his speech. Our record does not reflect the amount of effort or dedication that these young men put forth this season. We were young and made a lot of errors, but with every mistake, we learned. And we learned a lot this year. I would like to thank you players for making this an enjoyable season, and I hope you also enjoyed yourself and learned something. Special thanks goes out to all the parents and family members that watched our games this season. I would also like to thank Mr. LeBart for all his help and support, and Mrs. Burnell for keeping the book this season. Thank you.
The JV baseball team. Matt Lawrence. Ryan Dowd. James Burnell. Kyle Brassard. Terry Burnett. Joshua McNeil. Joe Martineau. John Decos. Travis Law. Nick Trombley. Nathan LaValle. Doug Alexander. Scorekeeper, Mrs. Burnell. The JV baseball team. Would the varsity baseball team please come forward? Coach Jamie LeBar.
Hey, give it to my mom.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Revenue for making all kinds of phone calls. Once again, the spring was a lot of fun, a lot of rainouts, a lot of changing games. Thank you, Mr. Revenue, who was on the phone all the time helping us out. Mr. Magoon and the bus drivers for getting the buses we needed to get the game. First of all, congratulations to the parents. All right, this was a great group of kids. They're well behaved, they're polite. They're also New York State All-Academic. This is a great group to work with. 2002-2003 baseball season was a tale of two halves for the varsity boys. The weather failed to cooperate once again, and by the time the first game came about, we had failed to play on any type of field except septic hill. Despite not having played on a field, the boys came out at the starting gate on the right track. At the halfway point in the season, our record was 5-1, with key wins over Class B champion Sable, Division I powerhouse PHS, and Division II powerhouse Ticonderoga. The second half of the season was just the opposite, however, as the team went 1-5 to finish the season with a 6-6 record. The team stumbled into the section, number 3 seed, with a rematch with Seton Catholic, who had defeated us earlier in the year at 4-0. The team was up to the challenge, however, beating Seton Catholic 9-2, and earning a spot in the Class C championship game against Tupper Lake. We hit a bit of bad luck in the championship game. The boys experienced their only bad defensive game of the season, losing to Tupper Lake, who eventually went on to the state Final Four. The team had several bright spots this season. Corey Bilo earned first team All-CBAC and first team Division II award as a pitcher. Zach Welch earned honorable mention, batting .457, and did a great job catching defensively. Zach also had 3 wins and 1 save as a pitcher. Sean Burke and Justin Gardner both had strong years at the plate, batting .387 and .324 respectively. I would also like to thank my assistant coaches, Mr. Dernan and Mr. Wayne DeBar, for helping out. It was a pleasure working with a group of such fine young men. To the seniors, I wish you all the best in your college careers, and thanks for the memories. I would also like to mention, once again, that the boys earned the New York State Scholar Athlete Award, which goes to teams that have a combined average of 90 or above. And as a baseball team, you have to have 11 people on it. Great job, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Varsity baseball players, Kyle Brassard, Danny Myers, Jeremy Scott, Zach Welch, Brock Trombley, Mark Decos, Corey Bilo, Andrew Sheehan, Justin Gardner. Troy Revenue. Michael Dollywell. Brian Trombley. Sean Burke. Scorekeepers, Lindsay Fennessy, Samantha Laurie. Varsity baseball.
At this time, if we could have all of our seniors who successfully completed a sport season up on stage, please. Several years ago, we started the tradition of honoring our seniors with plaques, and the beauty of giving all the credit to Mrs. Bilo at the beginning of this program. We always hold our breath that we've missed a senior or not done. If there's a problem, don't come see me. Mrs. Bilo is in the office at 8 o'clock every morning. Danielle Barnaby, cheerleading. Madonna Bertrand, soccer, cheering, softball. Corey Bilo, soccer, basketball, baseball. Sean Burke, soccer, basketball, baseball. Kristen Canning, soccer, cheering, softball. Michael Dollywall, baseball. Christy Drown, tennis. Aaron DeBray, cheering. Justin Gardner, soccer, basketball, baseball. Krista Jubert, soccer, cheering, softball. Brad LeBombard, basketball. Lee LaValle, soccer, cheering. Ashley McNeil, volleyball, softball. Stacy Miner, soccer, volleyball. Rebecca Pedrani, cheering, softball. Aubrey Perrier, soccer, cheering. Troy Rabideau, wrestling, baseball. Andrew Sheehan, soccer, baseball. Andrew Siskavich, soccer, basketball. Stephen Thomas, basketball. Brian Trombley, soccer, wrestling, baseball. Danielle Trombley, basketball. And Stephanie Varon, soccer and volleyball. Our 2002-2003 senior student athletes. Good job, Mrs. Bilo.
Vilo is smiling. She's smiling. At this time, I'd like to express my personal appreciation to the members of the coaching staff. I want to thank them for the many hours they've devoted teaching you, our athletes, the important skills that make successful teams. To thank them for all their extra concerns and special interest which they've shown to you, our young athletes. Please join me with a round of applause to show our appreciation. In closing, I wish to personally commend each athlete for your achievements this year. On behalf of the Board of Education, our faculty and staff, I extend my most sincere congratulations. Thank you all for your attendance this afternoon. I think we've had a great party. There is soda and pizza in the cafeteria. I would ask our guests to please start the line, followed by the seniors, juniors, so